Hello everyone, my name is Karthik Pondula, roll number 20CS10031, and in this video I'll be showcasing the 3D model I made for my DIY assignment. I've done it in Fusion 360, the education license. It is a stencil. It's a shape that's used to draw circles on a piece of paper, and to be specific, you can draw circles that have any integer diameter from starting from 1 mm to 25 mm, right? And the diameter of the whole thing is 140 millimeters. The thickness is 1.5 millimeters. It's a relatively simple model. We can look at the sequence of operations I did. First, I started with drawing a sketch at the base, which we can see here. Obviously, it's a very simple sketch. It's a circle of 140 mm diameter. I've taken 25 circles starting from 1 mm and then 2 mm and then 3 mm all the way up to 25 mm, and all I did was I just manually placed the circles in this spiral manner. I've drawn this T-spline passing through the centers as a construction line, and I just kept shifting the centers manually and until the spline looked roughly like a spiral. That's it really. It's just mostly manual adjustments, and I'll be honest, I spent quite a while on this, and I'd say it does look more or less like a spiral. It does get the job done, right? Now, my original goal was to just, extrude this base by 1.5 millimeters and call it a finished product. But that would have been a problem, because if I had just extruded the base perpendicularly, these holes would have been cylindrical. And that's an issue because, say, for the smaller circles, say if this hole right here was cylindrical, then it would have been difficult to actually place the pencil lead and be able to turn it, so to be able to properly trace out the bottom circle. Say particularly for the 1 mm hole, we won't be able to actually orient the pencil at all. It would make things difficult. So to avoid this, as you can see, I have made the holes a little tapered. So instead of being cylindrical, they are frustum shaped. The upper circle in each has a higher radius than the lower one. Now, well, how did I do this? Okay, I have constructed a plane which is perpendicular, parallel to the XY plane, and it's 1.5 millimeters above it. And on this plane, I drew another sketch. I just copy pasted the centers of the base sketch, and I drew the circles as before. But this time, this diameter of each circle is higher by 2 mm. So this has a 3 mm diameter. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it would continue until 27. And these two are just construction lines, the T-spline and the 140 mm circle. And yeah, after this, I have decided to perform, as you can see, a series of lofts. Now, what did I loft? I have taken each upper circle and the corresponding lower circle, and I've lofted them to obtain this small frustum shaped solid. And then I did this for the next one, and then I did this for the next one, and so on. I generated about 25 lofted solids. Now, why did I do this? I did this so that I could extrude the base perpendicularly, and then from this solid I would subtract all of these small solids to obtain the desired shape. So that's exactly what I did. After obtaining each of these 25 solids, I have extruded the base, which is this profile, this dark blue part. I have extruded it by 1.5 millimeters, so it would give the stencil with cylindrical holes. And from this stencil, improper stencil, I perform a Boolean subtraction. From this stencil, I just subtract all of these 25 frustums so that this part gets chopped off, and we end up with the finished product in the way I desired. So there you go. This is the model in the CAD software. I can export it to an STL file. I have actually already done that here in the desktop, and I've already imported it into Ultimaker Cura, so we can analyze it for 3D printing. Placement is fine. It's at the origin, and the dimensions, as you can see, are 140 mm, 140 mm, and 1.5 mm. So well within the limits prescribed. And the print settings are as follows. I have chosen layer height of 0.15 mm and infill density of 100%. It's a thin solid, so it's fine. Printing temperature of 200 degrees Celsius, the bed temperature of 80 degrees Celsius, print speed 60 mm per second. I have actually disabled supports, but this model doesn't require any supports because as we print every layer, as we deposit new material, it is always on top of previously deposited material. There is no part which overhangs. You know what I'm saying? There is no part which is just printed on thin air. So no support is needed as such when we print it in this orientation. This is how we would place the stencil if we want to use it. The bigger circles would be on the top. So whether I enable this or not, there's no difference. It's not going to generate anything. But yeah, I am generating a brim, so to prime the material and just to act as a good support. But apart from that, we don't need any other support. I've enabled the brim, and when I go ahead and slice this, we obtain a product that will take 3 hours and 30 minutes to print. 19 grams, that is 2.44 meters of filament. And if you preview how it's printed, it goes like this. Bottom layer is printed like this. First the brim, and then it continues like that, and then each layer is printed one on top of the other. It's only got 9 layers. It's a relatively thin model. And yeah, we can save this as a G-code file, right? And this thing can be fed into a 3D printer, and we can bring this model to life. Thank you for watching.